Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to my bathroom. Tonight we're going to be talking about oral health routines to make your smile look great and to make sure that you have the best health possible. So I have a couple of recommendations from my own routine that I think would be helpful for most oral health product users out there. Nobody's paying me to say any of this stuff. I'm not getting any corporate sponsors, but I don't really want them either. These are just things that I've found that I like, and hopefully they're good for you too. All right, let's take a look. Okay, first things first, toothbrushes. So I use the Quip toothbrush right now. I used to use a Sonicare many moons ago. I thought, and again, this is supported by literature, technically the electronic toothbrushes give you a deeper clean, and so I thought that would be better for me, right? But I've also been a manual toothbrush user for a long time, so that's why I like the Quip toothbrush. I'm that person that's gonna scrub their face so hard that their gums are gonna be receding. I like the Quip because I have a little bit more control. It's not nearly as strong as a Sonicare or other kinds of like heavy duty electronic brushes. I like that it's like a very packable size. It comes in cute colors. I also like that it has a timer on it. It's 30 seconds each quadrant, and I get what I need out of it. I also like that they make me replace my brush heads frequently because I might be a little bit more frugal than other people, and I might keep my brush heads longer than I should be. So this thing comes every 3 months, I think. So you get a nice fresh brush head. For those of you who are hard brushers, be very gentle. Your gums do not grow back. You do not have extra gum tissue just waiting for you. You have to get gum surgery by a gum surgeon to fix that. I already have a little bit of recession down there on my own teeth, just because I can't keep them very clean because I have a permanent retainer on the bottom. So if you're that person that likes to go ham, I recommend switching over to just a regular soft bristled manual toothbrush. And I'll show you my technique in a second, because the way that you brush your teeth sometimes is even more important than the kind of toothbrush that you use. Next up on my regimen, highly important, is toothpaste. Again, I get this one sent to me in the mail from Quip. I don't really have a particular preference for it. The only thing I have to say is that put your fluoride in your toothpaste, people, okay? Don't go all natural on me. And if you think that charcoal and baking soda and coconut oil are the best thing since sliced bread, I have news for you. That's not what the World Health Organization believes. That's not what the American Dental Association believes. And frankly, if you think about it, how abrasive charcoal is and baking soda is, you're actually wearing down your enamel quite a bit. So you can do more harm than good with just doing like peppermint oil and coconut oil and activated charcoal. And also like the bamboo toothbrushes, like they can be really abrasive too. Your enamel, you only get ones that like one layer of enamel on your adult teeth. You have to be very, very careful with yourself. I will say that I also don't really recommend like whitening toothpaste, because the whitening action occurs from the abrasive action. So what that means is that the toothpaste has already embedded in it very fine particles that are called abrasives, and they kind of wear away surface stains. There are two kinds of staining on your teeth. There's surface stains and then there's intrinsic stains. Intrinsic stain means that it's in the microstructure of your teeth. If you look at your teeth underneath the microscope, what it looks like is it's like a honeycomb or a set of tubules. And the color chemicals that cause stains intrinsically hide in those little tubules. And although you try to brush on the surface of them, you can't actually release them from the tubules without a chemical. We'll get to that in a second. So I like a fluoride toothpaste that's non-abrasive, that's gentle, with my gentle toothbrush, that I can't go for more than 2 minutes with. I won't hurt myself with. Third thing that's super, super important is floss. And I have a lot of different kinds of floss and a lot of different methods of floss. You heard me talk beforehand that my gums are kind of receding in the front because I have that permanent orthodontic retainer in the bottom that I had placed when I was like 13, 14, and you know, I was just like, whatever, like I can't really tolerate retainers. I'm a good person. I'm gonna be a dentist someday. I'm gonna floss it. I did not know what I was talking about. Just like every other human, I try to floss, but like I'm not a saint about it. So the things that make me better about flossing are super floss and regular floss with go-between, or not go-betweens, geez, floss threaders. Go-betweens are like little Christmas tree brushes that you can use to go in between the teeth. I don't really recommend that except for in certain circumstances. If you're pretty healthy, you probably don't need them. So the kind of toothpaste or tooth floss that I use, dental floss I use, is called cocoa floss. It's really cute. It's very like Instagrammable. It smells good. This one's like Cara orange flavored. I think they have like hibiscus and they have coconut and they have mint. Yes, it has coconut oil in it, but I don't get it because of that. I don't even get it because of the cute flavors or the cute packages. What I like about this floss is that it's really durable. It is thick and it's strong, and I saw this one video online which blew my mind where they tied a little knot in the floss and they were getting pieces of plaque out from a patient's lower anteriors, just that little knot. Like, it was so strong you could get that out. Now, I don't think I have big old pieces of calculus down there that could be removed with a piece of floss, but I do think that this is strong enough to really get through a couple layers of your grime there. And it also expands when you use it, so it's like a little weave or mesh, and so it can pull more things out. That's something I don't like about the Super Floss. Although Super Floss is great that it comes pre-threaded for you, so it has this like cute little needle end to it. A lot of the floss is actually either this spongy part, which is great, and I do use that, or a very thin floss section that shreds a little bit easily. So in tighter areas, you might actually get caught in between your teeth, or if you go down really quickly, because it's so thin, it can actually tear at your gingiva. So this I don't use as frequently. It's only kind of like when I'm being really lazy that I like to use this. But it's a good option for people who do have those tight spaces that they need to go in between or go under. As for the floss threader, I love this thing. If you know how like sewing needles work, this is a really easy situation. All you really do is you loop your floss through here, and you have a little free end, and you can go into your teeth. Let me see if I can do this backwards. All right. There you go. Good. Take off a like regular piece of toothpaste to floss. My goodness. You're getting me on residency brain right now. I'm a little tired, and I look great right now. So nice, good piece of floss. I twirl, I start at the bottom because it's just the hardest spot for me. What I'm trying to do, and I'm sorry I'm talking with this in my mouth, I know it's ridiculous. I'm trying to go around the teeth like a letter C, and that's so I can hug all the surfaces of the tooth and go underneath that gum line where there's like almost a turtleneck of gums where the bacteria can hide. You don't want to be scraping back and forth or sawing up and down. That's not really it. You actually want to be following the tooth. Around and down, and down, like that, and higher. I'm gonna have to put subtitles on this. I'm sorry. I know that was really hard to understand. It's a letter C. I'm going around. I'm trying to avoid the little pink triangle in between because that doesn't grow back. It's not like a lizard tail. It doesn't come back. Okay. And around, and around. Good. I think of one more I missed. Good. Okay. Pull that bad boy out. So each time I'm going 5 little strokes around that tooth like a letter C. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pulling up. That's beautiful. I like to floss before I brush. This is because you're pulling all of the gunk, all of the bacteria, all the grime up from that little gingival sulcus area. You're excavating it essentially. And then afterwards you can come back with your toothbrush and get rid of it. And I just feel like I'm being a good student. This is what they teach us in dental school. Essentially, you're less likely to forget to floss if you do it before you brush, because nobody forgets how to brush or like when to brush, but you do forget to floss. I think if flossing is not something that you have incorporated in your life right now, don't be hard on yourself, okay? Like, we all humans here. Like, some is better than none, okay? So if a reasonable goal for you is to floss once a week to start out with, well then that's a healthy habit I can get behind. I'd like you to work up to more, but like, I'm not the flossing police anymore. I'm just glad you're doing it. So I'm gonna go around my mouth real quickly and then we're gonna brush. some good food. Now, I'm pro status over here. I'm doing this really quickly. I'm doing it without looking. If you're not somebody who has like super high perceptual ability scores like some of us dentists do, what you should do is you should do this in the mirror. If you wear contacts, if you wear glasses, if you wear reading glasses, put them on. Do it, watch yourself in the mirror. For me, because I could probably do this on myself, on somebody else in my sleep, I can do it while I'm looking at you right now. But if you're not too comfortable with it, watch yourself. That's okay. That's allowed. This might be my cutest look. Ooh, but it's strong. It's not breaking. A lot of people ask about like, well, if it bleeds when I floss, is that a bad thing? Like, should I stop? No, you shouldn't. That's a sign that your body's trying to heal itself. Probably there's a little bit of gum disease going on called gingivitis or periodontitis. And that means that your body's trying to wash away the infection. So it might bleed a little bit, but the more that you help your body by cleaning with your floss and with your toothbrush, it'll go away. So just keep on flossing through it. This is actually helping, not hurting. And if it's a little bit tender, it's probably because the infection was already there and you just haven't touched it in a while and you didn't even know it. You've got to get rid of that infection, and that's by getting rid of the bacteria, which starts with your floss. So keep going. Oh yeah. I find that most people think the hardest place in their mouth to floss is the back sides of their back teeth, the last molars. You still have to do those spots though, because every tooth is surrounded on all sides by a little turtleneck of gums. So if you imagine like next to my neck here, like this is where my tooth is, and this is the little turtleneck of gums that it wears, right? The bacteria sit in here. And so that floss goes in there and it wipes it out, it cleans it out. And even on that last side where there's no opposing tooth for like food to get stuck down, you still have that little turtleneck. So you gotta brush it out, brush it out. I assure you, you're gonna find stuff in there like buried treasure you didn't even know was in there. It's pretty nasty, but in my line of work, it's very satisfying. So advanced pro tools that you're probably not gonna use, but I love using. I have a couple of universal scalers. This is like my cheat when I don't really want to floss that much. I'll scale myself. This is like, if you're not in the dental or dental hygiene professions, I would not recommend going out and grabbing these things for yourself, because it really is an advanced skill. This is for cleaning underneath the gum line. They do have like little pointy bits to them, yes, but you're not stabbing the gums, you're actually just cleaning underneath the gum line. And I don't even really have to look at it, I just have to feel for it. So if you're ever wondering why your hygienist can talk to you and, you know, look in your eyes and like make jokes with you and still work on your teeth, it's because they don't have to see anything, because it's all underneath the gum line anyway. And if it's tender, it's because there's infection there, not because they're stabbing you. But this is really helpful for me getting underneath my retainer area. So if you haven't had your teeth cleaned in a while, get somebody to do this for you, but this is my little pro tip here. This is something I like to upgrade myself with. So I'm gonna do a real quick brush, and then we'll talk about mouthwash, and then I'll put in my bleach trays, because I do actually like to have a really shiny smile. Do my little brush. Okay. So brushing technique for someone who has healthy teeth and healthy gums, you essentially want to go tooth by tooth, doing little vibratory motions, trying to get into that little turtleneck of gums. Try to go with the very tip of your brush. See, I have a little like pea size, Pogo Puff size amount of toothpaste on there. That's your sweet spot. You don't need a big old ribbon on there. Nobody needs that. But you just want to make sure that you're getting it everywhere in your mouth, so it's nice and wet. Let's. Okay, so I've done my preliminary brush. You might have seen me brushing on the tooth surfaces as well. I'm gonna do one more of that because it just makes me feel cleaner. And I'm gonna brush my tongue too. Always brush your tongue. Your tongue needs to be brushed, otherwise the little filiform papillae, the fungiform papillae, all of the little tongue, like taste buds and hairs and things like that, they need to be cleaned off. That's where bacteria likes to live. So let me do that. Oh yeah, I had a lot of coffee. Coffee stains. Okay. Magnificent. So, brush is done, floss is done. Now we're gonna do a little mouthwash. I have a couple of brands of mouthwash I like. This is actually the Listerine Zero. I just put it in a cute little bottle. I can't have regular Listerine. I'm actually allergic to regular Listerine. The inside of my mouth peels on me when I use it, although it feels very refreshing. Other brands that people like to use are like Closis, which is a natural brand of mouthwash. There's also chlorhexidine gluconate, which is a prescription mouthwash that's really good for people who have infections in their mouth. It's also known by the name Paradex. But for those of us who like to use mouthwash, you don't have to. You really don't have to. The brushing and the flossing should be enough. If you want a little something extra because it looks cute in your cabinet and because it makes you feel very fresh, this is a good way to do it. So it really, you can gargle, that's fine, but it's not gonna get rid of garlic flavors or tastes or anything like that, because that's metabolized in your lungs and you're just gonna breathe it up all night long. So put it where you want it if it makes you feel good. If it doesn't, I don't think it's that necessary. Okay, final steps for getting me ready for bed is I like to do a little bit of whitening because I do beauty pageants and because dentistry is my life / I'm a resident and I drink embarrassing amounts of coffee daily. I feel like I need a little bit of whitening. So my favorite kind is Opalescence. This is 15%. They make it in 20%, 12, I think 15% and 10%. This is kind of their mid-range one. What I like about Opalescence is that it's carbamide peroxide. Normally like the Crest white strips or the over-the-counter white strips are the sister or cousin hydrogen peroxide, which works quickly, but it doesn't have as much power or efficacy as the carbamide peroxide, which is the sister, which changes the pH in your mouth. It actually kills some of the bacteria in your mouth, which is kind of nice too. For whitening treatments, again, I don't like the abrasives. I don't like the idea of those little light thingies that you buy on Instagram. I think that they're just taking your money. There's a lot of literature that talks about that really the only thing that lights do is it dries your teeth out, and why would I pay money for that when I could literally just keep my mouth open like this and put some of this paste on, which actually does the good stuff. So, shots fired. If you really need like a white mouth, like white teeth for a wedding, sure, that's fine. But your teeth will rehydrate after using something like a Zoom or like one of those Smile Bite things, whatever. I don't recommend them. I recommend doing it over a set of a week or 2 weeks. If you feel like your sensitivity is a little bit high, don't worry, you're not damaging your teeth. It's just water moving through those little tubules where those color chemicals, those pigment chemicals are getting washed out. So you're not damaging your teeth at all. You can do one arch at a time if it's too sensitive for you. So if you don't want to do both, don't worry about it. Just alternate and you should be able to tolerate. Okay. And yes, I did make these myself. These whitening trays have lasted me a very long time. I actually made these, I think, when I was in college. My mom had me practice. Who better practice on than yourself? So, was making good dental trays back then, still making good ones now. Beautiful. Not my sexiest look, but my smile tomorrow will be beautiful. The last component before I go to bed, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of the lip balm on. Do not become addicted to your lip balms. Your lips can actually become more dry than need to, but I like this, so I'm putting a little bit on. This is just a nighttime routine. Hopefully this helps some oral health questions get answered. You get an idea of what I recommend. If you have any comments or questions or ideas for videos, let me know. I think next week, the video I want to do is kind of talk about an interesting topic. I want to talk about how being a beauty queen has helped me become a better doctor. And I got a great story for you guys, so let me know if you're interested. Comment, subscribe, you know the whole deal, and I hope you have a great week. See ya.